Good morning children. Today we are going to see new lesson from biology. Lesson number 2, the cell. All living organisms are made up of cell, and cell is the basic unit of life. Some organisms are made up of single cells, while higher organisms are made up of billions of cells. And organisms which are made up of single cells are called as unicellular organisms. For example, amoeba, paramecium, euglena. What are the pictures you are seeing here are made up of single cell, and all the activities are made by this single cell. And for example, this amoeba lives in the water. It is made up of only single cell, and all its function is carried by this single cell. This type of organisms are called as unicellular organisms, and organisms such as human beings, cow, tree are made up of a large number of cells. They are called as multicellular organisms. So, multicellular organisms are made up of billions of cells, and these are the examples of multicellular organisms. All living organisms are made up of cells, and cell is the structural and functional unit of all living organisms. Let us see first who discovered cell. The word cell was coined by the scientist called Robert Hooke. He was an English scientist. He designed a microscope to observe the minute objects because unicellular organisms are made up of only single cell. We cannot see the cell with our naked eye. So they need of a special instrument to see these organisms, and also to observe the cells which are present inside the higher organisms. This instrument is called as microscope. This was made by an Robert Hooke. One day, while he was observing thin slice of dry cork apart from the tree, he found that it was made up of. Robert Hooke used this microscope to observe the slice of dry cork, and where he found some chambers where Robert Hooke saw the chambers or boxes like this inside the dead cork, and he named, since cork has only dead cells, he saw only the walls of the dead cells, and he was unable to see the things which are present inside a living cells. And later, different parts of the cells which are gradually discovered over the years, and it would have been possible only with this microscope. And this is the microscope we were using it today to observe the cell. Now let us learn about the parts of this microscope. We place specimens. Specimen is nothing but the things we want to observe, the things we want to see. That is called as specimen. So usually we place a specimen on the stage, and we see the things which is present on the stage through the eyepiece which is at the top, and which is the lens which is used to see the specimen clearly. There are two other lenses are called as objectives. The lenses in the microscope used to see the things larger. The lenses in the microscope work like a magnifying glasses which used to see the specimen clearly and larger. And we align one of the objective. There are two different types of lenses are there, and we align one of the objective with the specimen and with the eyepiece to see the specimen clearly. The mirror below the stage directs the light through the specimen, thus allows us to see the specimen clearly. These are the parts of the specimen and its uses. In 1672, Antony van Leeuwenhoek and another scientist discovered the presence of single-celled organisms in a drop of water using a microscope which was developed by himself. He was one of the scientists who discovered the presence of single-celled organism by using his own microscope, which is developed by himself. And this was the beginning of the discovery of vast single-celled microorganisms in the world. This is the cell of an onion peel, which is seen under the microscope. See, it is consists of some chambers. This is called as cells. And this is the cheek cells, which is present inside our mouth, the cheek region, and it is stained with or colored with some blue colored dyes, because to see it clearly, this is also a cell which is seen under a microscope. Why the cell is colored means because it looks white in color, so we were unable to see that. So if it is colored means you can able to see it very clearly. That is why some dye is added to the cell to see the cells clearly. These are the hexagonal shape of cells which is present in our cheek region, which is present inside our mouth. And after you have seen different cells under a microscope, you come to know that cells are in different shapes. For example, cheek cells are in flat shape, and while muscle cells are thin, elongated and in tubular shape, whereas amoeba, a single cell organism, and change their shape frequently. It does not have a common shape or definite shape. So different parts of our body having different types of cells, and each cell is having different shapes according to its function. Thank you, children. In the next class we will learn about the different shapes of cells and different things which are present inside the cell, and what are its function and structure we'll learn in the next class.